Howdy, I wanted to record this video for you guys and show you a couple things. One, how a coordinated division can do, how well it can do, and also the disparity between the Hakuryu and a midway and a good carrier driver and a not so good carrier driver. A lot of guys were saying that our carrier, this is obviously a testing account, was not sir. I don't know if that's true or not. Um, all I know is they were really good and they supported really well, and we actually came out and won this battle. I don't know that we should have necessarily, but um, it definitely turned out really well. So we are here on the Atlantic map. It's me, Kudai, and Ordi. And we're headed to A right now, which is a good bow tank position for the Missouri, the Buffalo, and the Kronshtadt. Um, I'm just trying to roll out away from everything and get to a point where I can roll my bow in again to ensure that I am bow on. So one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about too is battleship play. Okay, in warships, when you have cruisers and cruisers are up front and spotting stuff, doing what they're supposed to do, going for cruisers stuff, and your battleships sit back in the back. Okay, it's really important that you pay attention to the minimap as a battleship driver and kind of see what your team is doing. If your team is moving up, if your cruisers are moving up and you're in a battleship and you don't do that, you are failing the team, okay? Just because you're sitting back in the back and you're tanking damage, let me correct myself. If you're sitting in the back and you're dealing damage, you're not necessarily doing the team as much good as you can be, okay? Your role as a battleship is to tank. Okay, that means let the enemy shoot at you. The cruisers should not be tanking for you. I'm on the 5th stage of the Bull Halsey campaign, and I'm having to run my Des Moines over and over and over. And I don't know how many battles I've just gotten so utterly annoyed and insanely pissed off at battleships that are behind me. I will have tanked over 1.5 million damage and almost be dead, and the battleships behind me will still have full freaking health. That pisses me off as a cruiser driver. And then your battleship drivers typically will sit there and try to tell you that you're not doing your job because you're not lighting shit. Well, I'm sorry that I don't want to get shot at, right? Anyway, back to the battle. So the enemy team has done a pretty even split, A, B, and C kind of. I'm trying to jostle with the steering, get my angles a little bit correct for engaging this Der Gross that's in the middle there, headed toward B. If you look at our carrier right now, he's sending a strike across A and around, which is amazing because he's actually going to spot a destroyer. Look at that. And the way he's flying his aircraft, he's actually going around about the map, and he's not worrying too much about AA. The enemy fighters aren't really doing much because he's got a friendly bomber all the way up on the northern side of the map already. If you look as I'm engaging, I'm pretty close to a lot of the stuff that I'm shooting at, but I'm playing with the steering quite a bit. He's going after that Missouri right there with torp bombers. He goes in for the strike. I think that's 2 torp bomber squadrons. And he effectively puts, what is that? 8? 7 torpedoes? 6 torpedoes into the side of the Missouri. I got my radar up to detect that Liu Yang. I don't quite have the arc that Des Moines has here, so I'm kind of slowing down to try to keep my view, my line of sight here clear. Nothing can really see me through this line of sight, so I can engage Der Gross and Yamato from where I'm at. But there are aircraft spotting me, so... I take a very big hit. Remember what I said about the Kronshtadt, the angles that you're at, right? I lost almost half my health there because I was not angled correctly. I got a little greedy on that Yamato. So at this point, looks like Kudai is engaging the Missouri at range. I'm still trying to start fires on these battleships in the middle that are just kind of sitting there. Making sure that I'm communicating. If you look at our carrier, he just left a dive bomber squadron up here. This is awesome because he's spotting with that. He's spotting all this stuff on the north side pretty much with that one squadron, which is just phenomenal if you ask me. So our Des Moines just took out that Cleveland that was over there. I'm kind of jostling with the throttles a little bit to try to get angle of the Yamato. Tried to drop some shells on him from range. And at this point I realize, okay, we can't all push through A and go around the far side, so I'm going to try to come right, I think. Oh, maybe not. For some reason I thought I did. Because they are pushing south on the east side now pretty hard. If you notice, I'm communicating as much as I can with everyone. This carrier seemed very in tune to the game, so. And our carrier just wiped the Missouri finally. My radar's up, so now I'm gonna head up and around the corner here. So at this point, I was kind of thinking that our win or a chance of win was kind of questionable. Okay, with the way that we were all kind of grouped up there in C, excuse me, in A, and just what ships we have left compared to what they have left and the hit points that they have compared to us. So. And I'm just trying to sit here and I'm going to try to burn as much as I can and get angle. Or keep my angle. So at this point I asked Ordy if he can move up because my radar is in cooldown. So he started moving up. Because I know those destroyers are right in front of us. Pretty much what I do here is I just keep rotating who I catch on fire as the fires happen. I didn't see that Lo Yang until just a second ago, so now I'm bringing my guns around on him. Completely missed him. Remember telling Kudai at this time, Kudai, you're the front line. You might want to back off so people can move up and support you a little bit. I got almost full health North Carolina behind me. The Der Gross is behind him. Again, this is a brawling battleship, the Der Gross. The Missouri is pretty good too, but the Der Gross is purpose-built, right? Unfortunately, Kudai eats a couple torpedoes. I happened to dodge the one. I just happened to. It was an accident. I didn't even know they were coming until it was too late. Minotaur's broad. He's going to increase my tank damage a little bit. Got a Citadel on that Minotaur with AP. So I see the carrier over there and I'm like, oh, that could be fun. But But I figure our carrier is going to go after their carrier, so I need to kind of focus on the ships that I can shoot at right away. I'm going to move up, try to tank some for Orty. I see these bombers coming in. I'm going to eat one of them, clear a hole. Unfortunately, these dive bombers are heading towards Kudai. So I hit my radar, I'm lighting the Chungmu on the right. Trying to get fire started on all these ships. That Lo Yang's almost out. So if I fire one salvo at him, start rotating my bow to the right a little bit. Orty kills him. Fantastic. I lose 13 almost thousand to Yamato. Because at this point is when I realized, oh crap, I am 13 kilometers from freaking Yamato. Wasn't really paying attention too much. And I'm just keeping my guns going. Like I told you all before, I don't really care about concealment. Because I'm trying to shoot my guns as much as possible, right? So I'm looking over here at this Iowa. I'm looking back at where the Missouri might, or the Minotaur might be. Torp's headed into the North Carolina and Kudai. And this North Carolina was just in Kudai's face the whole time, so there's nothing Kudai could do to avoid any of these Torps. And then, of course, the North Carolina is going to die too. So I killed the Iowa at range. Orty's trying to pull out here. I'm trying to keep fire on me the whole time. At some point I'm thinking, man, a strike has got to be coming at me pretty soon here. I have got to have a strike package coming. There's no way that I can't. It's about the time I noticed the carrier is keeping fighters over me and Orty, which is fantastic. Three fighter squadrons watching Orty and I. It's great. It's very rare in my opinion that you ever see carriers doing that. So this is what I'm talking about right here, right? This Der Gross now. It seems to be always the battleships will wait to the last second to push in to start tanking. And now he's by himself. He's rolling in hot, full speed, towards the enemy, right? And the carrier's going to, you know, plink at him. And everything over there is going to sit there and plink at him. Carrier just picked up King of the Air, right? I think that's 56 aircraft he needs to shoot down in order to do that, which is just insane, right? So Orty's just letting me know he's got, or I was letting the carrier know rather, I don't have much hit points left. Not a lot more I could do here with my hit points that I have left. So I'm just trying to plink at max range. Again, carrier doing a fantastic job. I think that's 2 full strikes now that have come through on their Der Gross that have not made it. Unfortunately, the Chungmu over there, and I don't know what other St. Louis. No, Minotaur I think fired torps at the Der Gross. Kills the Der Gross. So I'm gonna move up on voice comms. I think Orty and I were talking about. I'm gonna move up, try to radar once this Chungmu is in sight. So I'm gonna engage the Minotaur at this point. Carrier's pinging B, obviously we already headed that way, so I Wilco'd up. Not much health left, but I was like, hey, whatever. One thing I really liked about this carrier was how he rotated his strikes. So he always had one going out while they were coming back. So I asked the carrier if he wants to go for the Chungmu. Looks like he was sending his bombers out that way anyway. So lucky the carrier or the fighters are on these dive bombers, so they completely missed me. Carrier's going after the Chungmu. I mean, that was a hell of a strike right there. Almost half his health. Minotaur's just plinking away at me again. And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go balls to the wall. Torp bomber's inbound. I'm gonna eat one of these. No flooding damage though. That was pretty huge, the torpedo mitigation that occurred there. Minotaur's broad, so I'm popping some AP shots at him. And of course, one overpin is all I get. So the Otago and I are going after this Minotaur. This whole time Orty and I are communicating. I'm telling him I've got radar ready. I was waiting for him to go dark. So I'm like, okay, slow down, because the Minotaur is getting close enough for him to torp me. Of course, the cruiser behind me pops torps at me. Drives me nuts when people do that. So there's one set of torps from the Minotaur. I switch over to AP because he's about to be broad. I'm trying to figure out if I can lob between those two little island gaps there. So I fire at the Chungmu. I hold my fire on the Minotaur, but Minotaur's coming out. And then we plink at the broadside here. See what we can do. There you go, double Citadel on the Minotaur.
Cruiser sunk.
So now I'm like, okay, switch to HE for the Chungmu. Carrier's going after the Chungmu. Again, fantastic job, Carrier. Carrier did a great job. It takes some plink shots at the midway over there. So again, I don't know if this is Super Tester or community contributor, whoever was playing the midway on our team, or excuse me, the Hakiryu on our team. I'm sorry, but he or she did a fantastic job. I think the base at the end of the battle was 2,600, and I know for a fact this person shot down 76 aircraft, which is just insane to me. So right now at this point, me and Orty were talking about I was going to go to the right, he's going to go to the left this island because I don't know where the carrier was headed. So I was going to head up, push up. 125,000 damage dealt, mostly with my forward guns and mostly with, you know, very low health. I do have adrenaline rush on this captain. I think my reload, I gotta see what my reload was with the adrenaline rush. But yeah, at the end of this game, I know for a fact the carrier had a 2,600 base. I think I had a 2,300 or 2,200 base. So there's the carrier. So we're going to start plinking some HE. So you see an 18.5 second reload on these guns normally is down to 15 seconds with adrenaline rush. Which is just insane. So Orty starts popping off from the other side. I start popping off on this side. Again, you see that HE hit 1386, pretty standard damage for these guns. To be honest with you, I would like to see that up a little bit. So the end of this match, 134,000 damage dealt. Not a bad match. So anyway, that's another wonderful battle in the Kronshtadt. Like I said, I know I had about a 2300 base. I know I made over 1,000,000 credits. That was a full loadout with the credit flags and everything. This thing definitely is a joy once you figure out how to play it, how to use it as a tank. Well worth it. 750,000 free XP.